Fractal Design's new Epoch XL case. Epoch, it's another way of saying north without the wood and with mesh at the front. XL, it's not particularly XL. It accommodates 360mm coolers. XL often means 420. Before I start my video, would you mind terribly checking to see whether the button there says subscribe or subscribed? If it doesn't say subscribed, please press that subscribe button and watch it change. That would make me pleased and it would really help the channel. The Epoch XL comes in 5 versions at 2 prices. This is the white with tempered glass. The fans in the front are non-RGB regular fans, £110 including VAT here in the UK. In America, $120, presumably plus the tax. The black with tempered glass, same price. The black with a solid side panel, also the same price. If you want the black or white with tempered glass and 3 RGB fans, add 20. So that's £130 including VAT or $140 plus the tax. Right, let's pull off some panels. It's all quite traditional stuff. Thumb screws, pull back, off with the glass. It's described as lightly tinted. I mean, it is lightly tinted, but it's so close to clear. It's quite remarkable. The top, pull and away, mesh, has a stiffening frame inside. At the front we pull. Those plastic pins engage in clips, so it does require quite a reasonable pull, and you can see we have a built-in filter. The filter is fixed in place. There are a series of tabs. They clearly insert the filter in the frame and then bend the tab, so you're not pulling that out. That's definitely a wipe down or vacuum clean to clean job. Did that make sense? A wipe down or vacuum clean to clean. Oh, okay, sounds weird. Correct. Right hand panel. Plain panel, no airflow, no noise deadening, no nothing. And we've seen this before as well. One thumb screw, pull it back, fiddle it away. And we can see we have a fairly conventional chassis, loads of space in the interior, 3 140mm fans at the front, decent scope for cable management. A point of interest, these little kind of rivet heads are so you can remove the Velcro straps and shift them up to different positions if you choose. You will note the motherboard tray has loads of large holes. That's because this case supports reverse connector BTF Project 0 and so on motherboards, micro ATX and ATX. And if you're installing conventional hardware, i.e. I suppose it'd be non-hidden connectors, it will actually go up to eATX motherboards, but they will go over the grommets. So if you want to use the grommets, then stick to ATX. Power supply shroud is fixed in place. We have a cover that comes off at the back so you can easily install your power supply. We have 2 SSD sleds there. And in the floor, two hard drive or SSD mounts. SSD mounts on those 4 screws. Hard drive you'd use accessories to install it in the sled. So you can install 4 SATA SSDs or 2 SSDs and 2 hard drives, plus of course M.2 storage. And the last thing, front I/O. We have a fast USB-C, we have 2 Type A's, and we have an audio jack. The only thing about this case that strikes me as slightly odd is that we have Velcro management straps here, which would be typically for a mains power cord if your power supply is up the top and then you need to run the main cord down. As the power supply is there, not quite sure what those are about. But everything else looks absolutely fine and dandy. And I haven't used that expression in quite a long while.
Sniper Power PC are bringing Christmas magic to gamers everywhere. We've got giveaways all the way up until Christmas, Santa-approved deals on our best builds, and even more surprises to come this festive season. So check out our website, keep an eye on our socials for more information, and win yourself some freebies.
So I think the smart move is to install some hardware and see how things go. The motherboard is a Gigabyte TRX 50 Aero D, CPU is an AMD Threadripper 9970X, and the memory 64 gigabytes of Kingston Fury DDR5 6000 RDIMMs. Next we have the power supply. I'm using a Montech Titan PLA 1000 watts made by Seasonic, 1000 watts platinum quality. Fully modular, stranded cables, and in this context the other factor is it's white in colour, so it matches the case. Turn it around so you can actually see the business side. As you can see, we have plenty of space. Secure the two screws. And we have some cables to connect up and tidy away. And after that we can look at the CPU cooler, which is going to be really straightforward. Either it's going to be an air cooler on the processor or it's going to be an AIO in the roof. We've got the option of 120, 140 or 180mm fans in the roof. 180 seems like a curious option. It's going to be a straightforward AIO using 120mm fan units. But first, the cables. Now that's looking neat, and when we go around the back I've used 3 cable ties to hold the fan cables to the front of the case to clear the SSD drive bays, but beyond that it's Velcro all the way. Next step is the AIO. I'm going with this Glacier 1 360 D30 from Phanteks. 360mm AIO D30 fans. These fans have RGB and I was tempted to swap them out for non-RGB fans and keep the non-RGB aesthetic. However, if I start mucking around with the fans I might upset the AIO, and as we're talking about cooling a Threadripper, that seems a touch unwise. So whether I connect the RGB or not, that's a different question. But right now we have a little bit of RGB going in the roof. The AIO that looks okay. It's worth noting you don't get a rear fan with this case. The spec says you can install a fan or indeed a 120 rad in the rear should you choose, but there aren't specific mounting locations among the ventilation holes. I think based on previous experience with cases that don't have a rear fan, they look a bit peculiar, but the rear fan generally adds absolutely nothing to the cooling. If anything, it disrupts the airflow. I'm going to leave things be at present, put the AIO in the roof, and then we'll do the graphics card. If I do end up installing a rear fan, I'll likely put it in intake rather than exhaust. But for now, it's time for the CPU cooler. With the 360 cooler installed in the roof of the case, the Epoch XL doesn't look particularly XL, but there is plenty of space, and that's what counts. Final piece of the puzzle, graphics card. Palette, GeForce RTX 5080 GameRock OC, which slides in like so. Screw it in place quickly, make sure it doesn't fall, that would be terrible. Worth noting at this stage we don't have any accessories such as a GPU support, so what you see is what you get. Before I cast a verdict, I think I better just look around the business side. I like the look of that quite a lot. Final thing, just to give a fuller picture, I'm going to install some storage. I've got 2 SATA SSDs mounted on these drive sleds. 1, 2, and a single hard drive. Let's move that back a touch. I'm not installing the SATA or power cables, you'll just have to imagine slightly more mess than you can currently see. Crystal clear, that wouldn't be a problem though. And now it's time to install the panels and get the PC running. We install that side shroud, pop on the top cover, on with the front panel, and then it's on with the main glass. To test the Fractal Design Epoch XL, we're using a combination of Speedway Stress Test and Cinebench R23. Our mighty Threadripper is drawing 350 watts and running at 4.5 GHz, while our RTX 5080 graphics card is drawing 330 watts and running at 2.88 GHz. Total system power draw 860 to 870 watts. For our first test run, we have the fans running at a very quiet 1000 RPM and the system sounds like this. At a very cool ambient of 16 degrees Celsius, the CPU is too hot at 92 degrees, while the graphics are running at a perfectly reasonable 62 degrees. For our second test, we increase the fan speed to 1400 RPM, which sounds like this. The ambient is still 16 degrees, our processor is now 84 degrees, the graphics still 62 degrees. For the third run we're running the fans near full speed, they're all running at 1800 RPM and it sounded like this. The ambient has crept up slightly to 17 degrees, the CPU has dropped to 81 degrees, the graphics are holding steady at 62 degrees. For the final run, just for the fun of it, we kept the fans at 1800 RPM and removed the front panel and the top panel, and it sounded like this. The ambient is still 17 degrees, the CPU temperature dropped very slightly to 80 degrees, the graphics held steady at 62 degrees. I think we can agree that was a harsh and unreasonable test, somewhat akin to cruel and unreasonable punishment. So let's move on to my pros and cons about the Fractal Design Epoch XL. Pros, the good points. Good value for money. The case supports 360mm coolers in the front and in the roof, it supports hidden connector motherboards, and it has decent cable management. Cons, the negatives. You get minimal noise deadening features, and I'm saying minimal, but realistically none. It's a mainstream case without any innovation. I've put that as a con, and that might be slightly unfair. I mean, do we need innovation if a case does a good job? Isn't that enough? But the fact is there are a great many cases on the market, so I guess no innovation is a con. And finally, it doesn't have any support for a vertical GPU, which of course keeps the design nice and simple. So if you want to install a vertical GPU, don't even consider this case. Overall, I think this is a worth buying. I'm giving the Epoch XL an 8.5 out of 10. Don't forget to check us out on the web at kitguru.net, and also we're on TikTok.